Aha, yes, I'm not so. My mama akwaba and famra Maranatha television. So as usual, we your mistake cry. Ghana and Tijumedia Dana Dana Debro. Now, some radio yes, ya. Now, say and some air so our my Ghana and ya Debro. Debia catch no say and your NPP. And your NDC, and your CPP, and your PPP, minimum, for the betterment and development of the country Ghana. And until I done then, I Timiko Chinchi, not for Yaje Adrenal, not for the how my Ghana, no, Yababe in what you may so, Maranatha television. And no, any actually this way, a Ghana and tea, and to me catch you say Ghana and tea, no, what you saw, mammy, you're my papa. Ghana and tea, you're my papa, as usual, and you may my bow chain. How many videos? And then me bro videos maku 25 within the next 30 minutes ahead of us. Nemom what do you now 1 hour ahead of us. A copy me say no what trip about the no me no di juma no. And no 050 299 7328 050 299 7328 and no WhatsApp messages or the bar. My kind in Ediama, and for messages in the bra, Yabakai Ediamount. Ebia also Ebekasima Adjonu, Ama, and many in Aquaria, Ayodia. And no 050 299 7328 050 299 7328. Nemo me here sponsors. I will do my dear so. Said the Bayam Botiamba so gun and Tiasane. Now videos in the Yobebre, now so a tea. Na yentimi nyamre ni binka ho na fe yemfa more videos emfa mro na yenkyerɛw de Ghana ekoso ewo my Ghana yenkyerɛw papa eko yenkyerɛw bɔne a eko ewo Ghana nti so wei unya ne babia enokre no eya ha na yeka no na anwumre adie yi na me ne wo ba beka na mum ansa na no mame ma wakwaba emfa mra dwumadie yi so menim sɛ yeduare mu nkramofo mo kwa sorry anwumre maba Expisode ebi mu kwa sorry o maba afei so dwanifo ne afomfo ne afei teacherfo akyerɛkyerɛfo mu nyina makwadwuma mabedu fie for wakonwa na trase now this is your numero uno program hit with screen Mondays me pastor there be Mondays in ho Tuesdays and afei Fridays ya de bro de bia na afei nyame adom a kyena 9 to 10 ye betwa repeat Maranatha television unya we mo ba bia agese ha ya nemom edie na ya behwe yes. What is? Say election 2024. And Kofo Kasan Kofo compete. People are making noise. Ebi mu else sabo. Na die na ekoso e my Ghana. Ene ya do bowura His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama JDM. Ya do bowura na so ye. Ya ne ba twetwe nkomo e wo dwumade so. The next 30-40 minutes ahead of us is between Mr. John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency and Ghana viewers. Just take and stay because we have the best for you. Now, without much ado, let me give ourselves a little more break. Now, afe meba, but me edijumadi na akari na ababa so. Me try me ho smaki to abimra. Nemo meba, ebeto edijumadi so. Ghana you're my papa. Ghana you're my papa. Yes, Madam Mahama sisi afe meba. Na keteke no ebetu pum. Meba sisi ya.
Arise, gather youth for your country. The nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite to oppose her and make her great and strong. We are all equal.
Okay, mami mo akwaba na fe Ghana nti we are living no stone 110. You do say ya ni bre if you say ya pe kwa ye be fa so a ye be kekere o my Ghana. Ghana nti your my papa. Yes. Na unim say papa your friend John Dramani Mahama. Wo di Ghana so da. Na wo say afi we wo besamba. Etia na enkomade ya ne be twetwe nkomo. Afai timamufo muntie ye papa yasem. De obeka bia ye mekyerem ade akyerɛw. Na fa ye hwɛ so obetumi aye bio ade ama o my Ghana. Do you have belief and trust in our former president John Dramani Mahama? And no, I am multi-billion questioner. Yet to amount our Ghana so. Nemum the better from Biano. Yes, so but say, you never blow our Ghana tea, home. And I know this is a conversation between Yenya and Kwaku Sintim Misa and former president John Dramani Mahama. Now, Okon so and you beside John Dramani Mahama. Say, the other guy, Yama, congratulations. Why are they more? se ultimi ewini promise anano mokoye na yentie ye papa John Dramani Mahama na sema wakan about promise anano ya NDC for ekoye tie bra Lincoln video 1
you on your flag bearership 98.1%. I think
it was almost 99%.
99%.
Yeah, it was 98. Yeah, 98.7%. So.
This 98.7.
And in mathematics, you round off to
Okay,
the nearest
okay.
whole number, and the nearest whole number is 99.
99.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this was a comfortable lead.
A very comfortable. Not like the 2016.
Not like the 2016 one. This was a real comfortable lead.
Yeah.
So quickly, those who run, I was going to say run against you, but
oh Jesus, I love John Mahama, the way he communicates. In terms of communication, no wonder he is a communication expert. In fact, fluency in Brofukani Kassadie, you can't challenge this man. What you say, intelligence about communication or 98%, almost 99. Yes, in I don't know. Now, ya papa, sorry, pacho, ya papa John Dramani Mahama, and ya bisa papa. Now, competition, were you okay with them at that time? Now, when you saw some baba come home, now for more ruling a NDC party nana. Ken Asam Ebisano, or in Chemubai, Tiebra, video 2, Lincoln, let's go.
So quickly, those who run, I was going to say run against you, but it's not against you, it's the same party. So those who run with you, quick comments, Kojo Bonsu.
Yeah. Kojo Bonsu, was the mayor for Kumasi.
Kumasi, yeah.
And then afterwards, he was the acting chair of the Goel board, until we left office. And so he ran, and then Dr. Dufo, who had been former governor of the Bank of Ghana, and then
Finance
afterwards Minister of Finance, he also ran. There was a third person, Kobia, I think.
Yeah.
He came from the UK, but he later withdrew and threw his support behind me. So it was a 3-horse race, but it went well.
Yes, John Dramani Mahama, former president, Your Excellency, what in Chemu Abba, one more Quancy, what the Enchemu Abba. Now, Bisano say, Namia don't want the Abenway, what Ghana, what the show is in the coming up elections and then in 2024. Would you prefer, would you be excited? Say, Obama and Kwafo competitions, your competitors, would you like to give them position? What in Chemu by John Dramani Mahama?
So, will you consider appointing Kojo if you should be president?
Oh, we've put the primaries behind us.
Okay.
And actually, I was discussing with the chairman of the party, Asiedun Ketia, to begin moves to bring everybody together. We're asking for a reconciliation at all levels at which elections were held. We started from the branch to the constituency, and then to regional, and then to national. And so at any such reorganization or election, people win, people lose. But what you need to do is when you win, you must bring everybody on board. So I cannot ask them to reconcile at those levels, and I don't reconcile at the presidential level. And so we'll stretch a hand out to Dr. Dufo and Kojo Bonsu.
Okay.
And then to my brother who withdrew and threw his support behind me. I don't think there's a problem.
Okay, Ghana, former president John Dramani Mahama, in the year 2016, you say Udulusu elections, Now, Abra, what you concession speech, catch Ghana for you say, that's it, I will hold my na Ghana for Ebehunu Abra Enche. We are sure say you were accused forcefully, and some of your kangaroos, Nanya no cre, and some Hunubin contempo, and you tried to tow so. I'm a memoir a free winner, but in Chemubai, Mepacho Yenjimra.
2016 was a peculiar election. NDC had been in office for 8 years, but I had been president for only 4 years. And so as president, I was entitled to a second term. But if I got a second term, then it means NDC would have been in office for 12 years. And so MPP were determined to dislodge us at that election.
Okay. So
anything was fair game for them. And they realized that the only thing standing between them and victory was my persona. And so just destroy Mahama as much as possible. And so they told all kinds of lies about me, you know, about stealing money, corruption, hotels in Dubai. I mean, they all proved not to be true. But at the time, it was difficult to dispel, you know, because they had a troll factory that was churning out all kinds of misinformation. And that's why I said posterity will be the judge of my time in office. Because we know that vindication lies in the womb of time. And with time, the truth would always come.
Yes, Nama Manager will soon have a Ghana, Yamfa, a year, a future ma, Yanyanamo Ghana, especially the politician. Some politics phone away in Ghana. No, because with him and throw those who are politics, can you make me? Now, Mr. John Dramani Mahama can say, and throw so. Yes, I am politics. No one know I am aware. What you say, game, no, a dirty game, and you're saying it here. No, so when you die, I will go one far Ghana's can go to Switzerland Bank, Bia. Want to talk, I say, Bia, and then I will cut through it also. Now, oh, Kono, who makes a conversation, what's in here? No, I am aware. Politics o me no Ghana no e say ya entro and ye di politics no e wo my Ghana. Now at this point sir entro ya Mr. Mahama Ghana for especially the MPP wo tware to wo so no a wo lusu akonya no. Now ye can say are you vindicated? Wonu onyam no asamba wadi nkunim efise na entro and wo tware to wo so ana wadi nkyeremu by video 5 link on piatum.
Do you feel vindicated?
Of course, any human being will feel vindicated. I mean, the kind of lies that were told about me, I went out of office, I've been in this country, I was hoping that they would carry out some investigations into all the allegations they made about me. I actually challenged them, you know, after I left office. I said, all the things you said, DKM belonged to me, I had a hotel in Dubai, ships in Tokyo Harbor, me and my wife had transferred World Bank money into Swiss bank accounts. I said, I'm here, I'm waiting. Just come and investigate me. And nothing. So I have the right to feel vindicated, just that the situation in which we are, you know, the situation into which they have plunged this country is not the time for gloating and saying, I told you so.
Okay, now him, sir, and throw where you chat to Mr. John Dramani Mahama, so, or you're aware, or you're a politician. A time came, almost you come to MPP for so. It is the order of the day, no, and you say, and throw. Now, Adia, our cousin, I'm a maniac. Was say, make them who buy a challenging MPP for say, Sir Musi, my son, I am here, investigate me. Embassy, what to say, Yachin Don Mahama? Embassy, what to say, Yachin Don Mahama? And you throw. And LED Ghana, our Ghana politics, and your lies, propagandists. Name John Mahama, Mr. President, were you aware of the order of the day? When you send him call for the same thing, hey, Sami Janfi, or your number one of a political party woman. And this is the order of the day. Agrono says, say in a mudini dia, and you say, a time may come, you will lose two important personalities. Abraham Ghana, I'm a Ghana ultimate developer. You didn't throw about 2 almost so, Naja Padiano, a few women, unless you change and you renew your mindset. And yes, I say, and a call. Now, what can I say? John Wadu can send me to Ghana for in 2016. John Mahama, former president, or Senator Tro, Nanyano, John Wadu, who probably your throw for Ghana, John Wadu, any decay. Hey, control video says, Yanko.
I mean, I was watching a video of John Wadu saying, oh, is it about jobs? If it's about jobs, don't worry. There'll be so much jobs that Ghanaians can't do it. We'll have to go and bring foreigners to come and work to fill the rest of the vacancies. I mean, today, this is the highest level of unemployment in the history of Ghana. And so it was just say anything and win political power. But unfortunately, they have created a crisis of confidence in the population, in our democracy. Because now it's easy for Ghanaians to think that, look, politicians are liars. They'll just lie for political power. And then some people say, look, every 4 years we have to go and vote. I don't see what I benefit from the voting because it doesn't make any change in my life. And that is what this 8 years of MPP government has created.
Okay, if you are catching Ghana for such John Wadu, a Juma beer home with my Ghana for. Now, you beside Papa John Dramani Mahama. Papa, in 2020, now, o campaign no message that so a rescue mission against 4 more for Nana. The Yabisa, Papa, your friend John Dramani Mahama say rescue mission against 4 more for Nana. But Nanado Abo, was it true? Said now communication a strategy I'm going to come na enya papa and a man, Mr. Aya Kufado, Edi Usum Kunim, what in Chemubai.
Our communication was spot on because we could see what was coming. We could see it. Immediately we finished the election 2021. Electricity tariffs that were free before the elections were put back.
Yeah.
And then government immediately introduced an NHIL levy. We have gone through a pandemic. And we come out of the pandemic and you are charging us for the pandemic. And when we ask, what's the NHIL levy for? They say, so you think the free water and the free light you enjoyed and the vaccinations we brought in and all that were free? So it was just a grand deception of the people. But we could tell, I mean, this government was headed for this crisis.
Now, Mr. Mahama, I am no clear. Say answer now, be free abemuno. Udi sikapa egu ho e de magana. Na nke ni kwa se Ghana ho kire ye. I am no clear. Kire mu kire ye sika do wo say e na udi ja wo my Ghana. Answer na wo free abemwa so akọ. Wo kire mu.
One, because all the buffers we built, they used them and did not replenish. We had a sinking fund in which we left money, part of which they used to pay the COFO Eurobond. And then there was money left over. Any debts that were coming, they were paying. But we were committing a certain portion of the annual budget funding amount, that is the oil revenues, into the sinking fund for debt repayment. When they exhausted the sinking fund, they abandoned it and didn't put any money there again. So all the $3 billion they used to go and borrow $3 billion every year, they didn't spare a mind to put at least a bit in the sinking fund so that they could use it to pay off some of the urgent debts that were accumulating. Then we also left money in the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, $270 million, I remember. They came and just used it. We left money in the stabilization fund. That's what bailed them out in the COVID period, when there was no money anywhere and government didn't have a budget to handle COVID. We told them, look in the stabilization fund. That is what it was meant for, emergencies like this. And so they went and took 200 and something million from the stabilization fund. Now today, all those buffers did not exist. They had misused them. And then they had pushed our public debt from 120 billion to 577 billion.
Eti ya papa John Dramani Mahama wadi nchemwa ba wasi sika bi wo ha wogijai e wo Ghana aye ejapade so na wadi sika no gu ho no sisi sika no MPP fo di sika nyina na osadi nchemu ba se eniema bi wo ho a ya papa ye fe no aye Ken Oforiata oya aye Ghana mamuom no Ghana mram no aye criminal offense against Ghana na so obi enu a wo take aye Ken Oforiata on John Mahama adi nchemu ba former president.
From that, this Minister of Finance was doing something that I would say is criminal, because he presents the budget statement and then there are liabilities he knows are public liabilities, and yet he doesn't factor them into the budget. So the banking sector clean out. You say it cost you 22 billion. So it meant that government had to pay depositors 22 billion. Whose liability is it? He says no, there are receivers who are chasing people who owe the banks, and so we'll use that money to pay the depositors. But I mean, how much have the receivers been able to collect? I don't think they've collected even more than 1 billion CDs. And yet government has guaranteed all deposits, and so have put the deposits of those people's accounts into CBG and has paid them. And so it is a government liability. ESLA, we introduced ESLA. It started in October and then they took it over in January. The inflows that ESLA was supposed to receive to pay off legacy energy sector debt and petroleum sector debt, they created an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, like a company. And then they made the company borrow money against the ESLA revenues. So now a lot of the ESLA revenues are collateralized, they're encumbered, because they've taken that money and they've spent it. And so that also is a liability. Who owns ESLA SPV? Government of Ghana. Then energy sector debt to IPPs. Today, I hear they owe them almost 1.8 billion. But at that time, they owed them over 1 billion. So all these debts, including Get Fund, the collateralized Get Fund for about $1.5 billion, all these debts he puts as appendixes in the budget, but does not factor them into his accounting numbers. And so when he tells you he has a budget deficit of less than 5%, he's actually deceiving you. And he was doing that to create a better picture so that he could borrow more money off the market. After the issues of conflict of interest, his own bank being the broker and all that, I mean, those are all ethical issues that are clear to anybody.
Yeah.
Yes, after Ghana Tinye, Yane Papa John Dramani Mahama, and a bon como, Yanfana Sekasi, and Fama, Yenia KSM show, Papa Penny, Papa Yamisha, Juma. And I yanya Papa John Dramani Mahama and Mray Yanini Dinkomo. Now, say Papa John Dramani Mahama and some of what can Mray. Say a sign of Tia Ghana for Mummy. If you say, Sikaka, let's say, Japan, Bria, one, Yadini now, Messiah, hey, Ghana penny for. Now, Fay, beside Papa John Dramani Mahama. Okasa Niema equals to what Ghana CCA. Sanka, Ayawuna, what's your Baima? And what do you think Ghana for? And the Bayo, what you much Ghana for?
Actually, this government has had an easy pass when it comes to issues of governance. Because if I did 1/10 of what they have done these last 8 years, I'm sure that I would have been pilloried and crucified on a cross by now, you know. I mean, but it's also partly, there's a bit of hypocrisy in it, you know. There were a lot of people who were very vocal, not necessarily the opposition alone. There were clergymen, there were media people who won't give us any breathing space, you know. And of course, the MPP as a party also added theirs. And then they had organizations like Occupy Ghana, which are civil society organizations that were also breathing down our neck.
Yeah.
And so this trio symphony orchestra of people kept up such a cacophony about us, you know, a lot of it based on misinformation. But they did it to deadly effect. And so if it was us that did 1/10 of this, you know, I'm sure that would have been pilloried. Right now, a lot of them give them an easy pass because I do think that some of them are ashamed and some of them probably have an inclination or a soft spot for the MPP. And so when MPP is in government...
And then go yeah, Nana Akufo Adwaye, Yachemudu, and then Kwaya Bakwa, and Ghana for Bonnie Mudium. Now, Yabisano, say a beya one, say MPP 40 breaking 8, a beya one, then Chemai, Papa Dramani Mahama, the man Ghana for. A beya was said, after Tibra, 7 and 1, answer any one, Tibra Sisia.
How would you react?
Well, there'll be a breaking of the 8, but it will be a breaking of 8 years of corruption. 8 years of arrogance, 8 years of impunity. That's what's going to break 8. So there'll be a breaking of the 8. Ghanaians are going to break that 8.
You're very, very sure.
Oh, there'll be a breaking of the 8.
Yeah.
But the breaking of the 8 is going to be the breaking of the maladministration that Ghanaians have been through these last 8 years. It's going to break. There's going to be a new dawn.
What's your confidence level?
I'm highly confident. Since I ran for the primaries, it gave me the opportunity to go around the country, and it has put me in the position to get to know the challenges that Ghanaians are handling. And speaking to farmers, to taxi drivers, to market women, to everybody, I mean, they are at the stage where a last straw will just break their back.
Okay, Papa John Dramani Mahama breaking of the 8 never. Nemum a chrono breaking of the 8 and a yeba become a yes career breaking of the 8 a family and friends breaking of the 8. Oh Jesus, this is politics. In fact, I say breaking of the 8 no ebeba. Na yabisano unim say Ghana for your mindset we say all politicians are same. Aye no kre ya Papa John Dramani Mahama echem chese nya sa da na ebi ye papa echem bi odi nchemu bai tiebra.
Propaganda. It's a propaganda of the MPP. They are in their mess and they want to draw everybody else into the same mess, you've messed the country up. Not all politicians are the same, but they're happy to push that mantra and make it look like, oh, whether NDC comes or NPP comes, you're better off staying with us, because if NDC comes, it will be the same. That is the psychology of the propaganda they are doing. It's not the same. Our party has a track record. We have given more Ghanaians electricity than any party in the history of this country. Rawlings started the National Electrification Program and the Rural Electrification Program, which has brought Ghana to above 80% electricity coverage, among the top 10 in Africa. We started the digital revolution in this country. I was Minister of Communications when we divided post and telecommunications and created Ghana Telecom and allowed Space Phone and all the mobile operators to come in. We started laying optic fiber in this country, did the Eastern Corridor optic fiber. And so that whole digital revolution started in our time. We've given more Ghanaians water than any party in the history of this country. When Prof came into office, water coverage was 55%. By the time I left office, water coverage was 72%. 72% of Ghanaians had access to good drinking water. We have built all the public universities in this country. MPP hasn't built one public university. They're just good at renaming them with their, party figures. And so if somebody builds a university, you come and name it Dumbo University, Tedam University, all your people. If you look at basic education and secondary education, we built more secondary schools in this country than any other political party. We built more basic education facilities than any other party. We gave children textbooks. For 5 years, MPP cannot give basic school children textbooks. And so there's a lot that our party has done to improve the prosperity and welfare of Ghanaians. And so don't let them come tell us we and them.
In the history of Ghana, NDC for MPP for Muhuntumo, or Yemputuma, Ediama or my Ghana. Now, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, Nani Wate, Sir, a Vice President, Mahama Dubaumia, Wakache Ghana for say, who Mr. John Dramani Mahama, Wabum Prenu, he has beaten you twice. Now, when you say 2024 elections, I remember see, or Basabo, some way we are not say, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, we are no.
I didn't hear him say, but I read it.
Okay.
And this thing, he says he knows how to beat me, and
yeah, he knows how
he's beaten me before. That's what I saw, that he's beaten me before, and he knows how to beat. He's beaten me twice, and he knows how to beat me again. But I've never run against him. His face has never been on a presidential ballot paper. So how can you say you've beaten me? I've never run against you as a candidate. It's Nanado I ran against in 2012. I beat him. And then in 2016, he won. 2020, he won. So even between Nanado and I've won once. He's won twice. It's just that he's not going to run again. But I'm sure if he was running again, I would have equalized and, taken him out of office. So just tell Vice President Bawumia, his face has never ever been
on
a presidential ballot paper. And so he should just erase that. He knows how to beat me. He's never run against me.
Okay, what Ghana for say Bawumia now, he found a man who can see. Ballot paper na yade to about my Ghana. Bawumia uti meton so da. Etinya no kure tro na utwa kire Ghana for. Na fa yesa bisa no say enipa mako 10 na wo mugina. So obi beba be 2 franc a dia ma NPP no. Emu dia he na Mr. John Dramani Mahama. Usuro no wodi nchemu bai tiebra.
They are all going to run on the legacy of Nana Akufo-Addo. They are all inheritors of the mess that they've created for Ghanaians. And so they are not running on any new record. I don't see who is going to be more difficult than the other. We're just waiting for them. Let them choose. It's their prerogative to choose. And when they choose, then we will engage. But I don't think any of them would be more difficult than the other.
Okay.
Yeah. There are few, they themselves are going to cut 5 out. I hear there's going to be some super delegates, something, and they'll cut 5 out of it. And then after that, there'll be 5 left. And so we'll see who those 5 are. And eventually we'll see who emerges, and we'll engage. But I'm certain that whichever of them they bring before us will win the election.
Okay, now you bisa no bio abra na nkomoto twa na ekoso no ma me ka say ha eye Ghana nti ena nwumre ye ne papa John Dramani Mahama wonum say 2024 oba begina e de ama NDC so de be obasanya abanya no na afi watimi ediso na ye bisa no say Mr. John Dramani Mahama, in terms of politics in Ghana, you have seen it all, from assemblyman to the president of the Republic of Ghana. And then I won't try baby, now won't do a home. Edi empire na who. What didn't you Emma Ghana for? Tibra.
First, is it, do I infringe the constitution if I run for a second term? I'm entitled to a second term. Does it infringe the constitution? It doesn't. So I don't see where there's a problem there. Then the second thing is, yeah, I could, the easiest thing for me to do would be to take a rest and just walk away and do other things. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I like agriculture, I like to farm. And so it would be nice if you came and visited me on my farm in Yape or Bunsunu. We sit under a tree, they roast some guinea fowls for us. And,
some pito.
And if you want pito, I could order it. So that would have been the easiest thing for me to do. But when you are a person that God has blessed and your country has given you so much, then you don't want to withhold whatever you have from your country. I am a person who went to school in Ghana. I went to University of Ghana at a time when they actually paid us for going to university. We received we used to call it payee, and it was a weekly payment that we used to receive, you know. And so my country educated me, and I got the opportunity to serve as a member of parliament for 12 years. And so I understand the legislature, I understand the standing orders of parliament and everything. I got the opportunity to serve in ministerial positions in the telecom space. I got the opportunity to be an opposition MP when Kufuor was president. And so I know how it is to advocate on the opposition side. And I became vice president and became president for one term.
Yeah.
My party needs my services. I didn't say endorse me. I said, if it's your wish that I run, elect me. And the experience that I've garnered, I'll put at the service of my party and my country. And my party elected me. And so the next thing is for Ghanaians to make a decision. I'm not imposing myself, I'm offering myself for elections. And if Ghanaians think that the experience and expertise I have in this time of crisis can turn things around, yes, I'm available to do it. And there are times when generals have been called from retirement to come back because their nations are in battle. We're in battle this time. The mess into which this administration has plunged this country.
Every problems are out of Ghana. Now, you day in, day out, you've been talking about free SHS, reviewing of free SHS, reviewing of free SHS. Say, and I'll pass about your review of free SHS. What didn't you buy? Video 16. Let go.
Yes, that is part of the propaganda they used in 2020. They told Ghanaians that if I come, I'll cancel free SHS. That was their main campaign message. If he comes, he's going to cancel free SHS. He's going to cancel free SHS. And so, of course, for those who wanted to hedge and say, look, we'll even give you the opportunity to come so that you cancel it. But I said, review. Good policy, poor implementation. And if you ask all the headmasters and all the stakeholders in the education space, they'll tell you that the implementation has been very poor. And so all I told the president was that call all the stakeholders together. Bring the academics, bring the teachers, bring the educationists, bring the students, bring their parents and everybody together and say what are the challenges that we face with this free SHS. They'll tell you in terms of facilities, in terms of feeding, access to good nutrition, in terms of classroom blocks, accommodation. They'll tell you about lack of access to books and other things, poor teacher motivation. I mean, there's so many things that will come up. And apart from that, even in their agreement with the World Bank, they agree in the World Bank that they're going to implement that the SHS, free SHS, was poorly targeted, you know, because you want to make sure that the best of benefits go to the poorest. And so if people like me were taking out, people like you were taking out, because you can afford to pay your child's school fees. In school, people like us were taking out, it will leave more money to benefit the rural poor and the others who really need it. But right now, if you want to pay your child's school fees, there's no mechanism for paying your child's school fees. And so it says retarget it and make sure that you're covering the poorest secondary schools, the poorest families, and then take people like KSM and John Mahama out, you know, and tell us we can pay our full fees. That would even help the schools in a way. When your grant hasn't come, at least our monies would have come. You tell us to pay before our children go, and so you use it for the rest of the children while you wait for government to bring its money. So when I say review, which, you know, President Akufo-Addo said means abolish, in his lexicon, review means abolish, you know, then they use that as propaganda. But right now they've agreed as part of the IMF terms that they're going to look at free SHS again, exactly what I was telling them. So it's taking them almost 4 years to come to that conclusion.
Okay, now for Oche Mukono, now Yasa Bisano, Mr. Mahama, Ayanokre, Sir Wasi S. Garcia, Oba Ubicum, a Quan Beso and Oba S. Garcia, Ubicum, Amagana for, and also what in Chemubai, Tibra.
Cancelled ex gratia for all workers in the PNDC time. Workers used to get ex gratia anytime they were leaving, and we cancelled it for all of them. But when the 1992 Constitution came, it said that the president shall set up a commission which will determine the emoluments and privileges or whatever of a certain category of staff. And that category includes all members of the executive, all members of the legislature, all members of the judiciary, workers of Traj, workers of NCC, National Media Commission, I mean all those constitutional bodies. And so their emoluments were not to be determined by the Fair Wages Committee, which is the body for dealing with wages, wage negotiations and all that. So they're handled in a different manner. Now what happens is, and we will stop that practice when I come, within the first 100 days when I become president, I'll set up the committee to determine the emoluments. What happens is, normally the committee is set up when the president is getting ready to leave office. So by the time they determine the emoluments, at the end of the term, government has to pay arrears of 4 years. And that is what is seen as a lump sum that goes to ministers and other people like that. But aside from that, there's an ex gratia payment. It's like, thank you for your services, and that is paid. Some people call it gratuity. Others call it ex gratia, but whatever it is, it's a lump sum payment that is given to you.
Na any sanya abra 2016 ye two wufra akonwa so no. 2016 Mr. John Dramani Mahama abra wo kono ex gratia wo je sei ode nchemu e ma Ghana for de oje ye wo ka kire ye tiebra.
Total, my arrears came to 200 and something thousand CDs, and then my gratuity came to 200 and something thousand CDs. So in all, I received about 500 and something thousand. As President of the Republic, 500 and something thousand.
Okay, it's almost about 5 billion plus something. Okay, no problem. Now, you be saying, says, "Is your person Ubabio? Ubabio, plans for Ghana?" And they say, "What you want Ghana for?" Tibra.
The saying is that we want everybody to be treated fairly, and so in our manifesto we said that instead of a presidential emoluments committee for this category of people and fair wages for this other category, we'll have an independent emoluments committee that will handle emoluments for all public sector workers. So that is our suggestion. And that's what I'm saying. But we need a constitutional amendment to be able to do that. And so we must amend the constitution to set up an independent emoluments committee and take away the, we call them Article 74 office holders. But in the meantime, I can determine that if you want to serve in my government, voluntarily we'll say we're not taking ex gratia. So if you serve in my government, you must give up ex gratia. I have the right to do that. And so we've said that for our government that is coming, we're not going to pay ex gratia. And I cannot I cannot order that it be not paid to the judiciary and the legislature. But I said I will encourage the other arms of government to do same.
Okay, what you he cannot order for the offense for na Ghana, especially the lawmakers. Say omo enjoy as gracia so the latter part in ya. Eti or no dear or an address or bar or become no problem. Eti ye chepa. Now Argentina ya no can say over confident to say 2024. You are too confident. What you
see that side, we're very sure that we're winning the election. Yeah, we're winning the election. We're taking all the right steps, you know, and I get a feeling that was missing before, that our people have the edge to win, and so you can tell that they are.
You didn't feel that before?
No, you could see that, I mean, they were going through the motions and they'll do what they have to do. But this time you can see they have a hunger to win. And that was accentuated by Asin North. The victory in Asin North has done everything to just embolden our people. And with the strategy we use in Asin North, well, I'll not say it here so that they don't. But it was a formula that worked. And we want to replicate that nationwide. Yeah, one of the things to do is to prevent MPP from doing what they do best, rigging elections. And so we will...
Now, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, upon everything that you've done for the country Ghana, after Yamira Busiam, what is some comfort do what say no more can some no crego swa. On far one to sing country was a mura, Jai politics, Nyanko pay a baby. Now we are okay with the letter that we have. One can't be done, Papa John Dramani Mahama to Ghana for him say, there be an Erika. Now so, what did you reply? I have the man,
and she was against my running again. Indeed, I'll tell you something. It's going to come in my book when I write it eventually. And it was an occasion where Lodina went to Professor Mills and complained about the bashing that I was taking, you know, as his vice president.
Even as vice, yeah.
When I was Professor Mills' vice president, and was complaining about the bashing her husband was receiving, and that she's having sleepless nights. And Professor Mills asked her, he said, but where do you hear all this? He said, but don't you listen to the radio stations? Every morning when you open the radio station, you're insulting my husband. Then Professor Mills said, so why listen to the radio station? You know, Prof was just such a fantastic man. And you know in Tree how he said, radio stations are. Radio stations. And what DSTV of here? Then Lodina said yes. I say, Africa magic. Well, let me translate that in English. Yeah. He said, but why listen to the radio stations? He says, don't listen to the radio stations. I don't listen because I don't want to get high blood pressure, so I don't listen to the radio stations. And then he asked Lodina, do you have DSTV at home?
Yeah,
Lodina said, yes, we have. He said, you go and tune it. There's a station, Africa Magic. He says, they show a lot of interesting films. When you go home, just tune Africa Magic. You know, so she's always, you know, quite affected when...
Do they support you? Said decision ni attempt di ankonfo diu e wo Ghana politics mu no wo mu support o wo che mu che Ghana ntifo tiebra.
She's accepted it and
show some love, man. What about children? I'm asking about the wife. What about how do they feel? That's their daddy that's being bashed.
Yeah, the kids will always support me, and now they've come of age. And so they understand it better.
Yeah, sure.
Shafiq is in, he's finished his master's, and his wife has gotten us a beautiful granddaughter.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So he is on social media, and so he goes on social media and then he supports us on social media. Shafiq does the same. JC is in university in Canada studying. And then Sharaf is the one who loves football.
Okay, eti ya papa and some way to ga me ka say ha aye Ghana nti afei enche bia na afei won so ba bebam eye 0502997328 enche bia message manum ntam no so ba befa wo side of the story na afei what me actually wadwen na ya bisa e papa John Dramani Mahama say 2016 abra wo lose election no na all share ne eye concession speech no e de na ekoso e wo nadwen what den say bitunda tiebra
that a situation could arise where you might have to concede. And so, as president, I had 2 speeches drafted.
Oh, you had 2 speeches?
I had 2 speeches. I had a victory speech and a concession speech. If you're president, you should always have 2 speeches. Because you don't know which one you have to read. But they are in draft form.
Okay.
And so you finalize it after.
After the results.
So that speech that I read, I finalized it just hours before I delivered it. And so I finalized it and I read it.
No one speak to me no. After you beside say and ya de pan na na dan kwaku fu ado aya. Wo hu ni say aye bone e wo wani so. What in chemu by tibra.
Actually put down that will ensure some of these things that you're talking about.
Yes, it won't happen overnight. And that's why government is like a baton race. And so in 92, we adopted a constitution. We set up the institutions. And the constitution serves as a guide how the institutions should operate. And it meant that we needed to continue to strengthen those institutions. President Rawlings did it to a point. President Kufuor took over and continued with strengthening the institutions. President Mills continued, I continued. What problem we have today is that the progress we made has been reversed because we have a president who believes in packing the institutions with clearly partisan people. He's done it to the Electoral Commission. He sacked the commissioners and brought new commissioners. Recently, he's appointed additional commissioners who are known to have a background as MPP Aparachiki. He doesn't care. You understand? If you go and ask people in the security services, promotions are no longer based on merit. They're based on your political inclination. These are things that weaken those services. There's a state enterprise where the CEO is ill, and yet you won't let him go home on health grounds. You create an IMC to manage the corporation while he's sitting at home on health.
On this note, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana represent to you former President John Dramani Mahama. And come out when you train Kakrano. Aha, and you bet me the SC. No mom, the kind in Yate, 2024. Yes, you have got to Aba. Near veteran leader or you're very competent. Sabi, not you moved out, bet me the Ghana. Ama a year in Putu, Juma at me about my Ghana. A 050-299-7328. 050-299-7328. Afei mama share some message kakra ba obetimi do messages no aba amama kenkan e de amount 0502997328 umrenie afei question bi a wo bia no utimi e ba betre wadwene na yem build Ghana together enya me nkwa me dia eye wo dia eye me dia me dafo wudi na bia kasa free aha ani dem mesra mo say ye no mu na edi dwuma no ene ma hyehyɛ yaso oba Dumu TV no volume no yenkasa e wo phone nim because at this point you do ha ana dwumadie no anu aye hyehye pa 050 me na for my TV volume no confirm hello pato mo yin free so mame 0502997328 oba my TV volume no confirm ade hyehye maso you are giving me feedback na fe yenkasa at this point edu ha se na anu aye hye me no for wudi na yakasa free hello me no for hello hey Ebi 0502997328 050 ahana edu ha ye fire just tune down the volume of your TV set let us speak oka mete me ka o mete you are giving me feedback. 050-299-7328. Medafodi. Yes, sir. Mo Nyamishra. We need to be free.
Because your friend, Soldier Boy, and Caterpillar come out to Fantastic.
Soja, Ghana nti ye chewa dwen.
If you are a crew in India, if you see, you won't get. Oh, John Mahama said, yeah, no, yeah, MPP4. You are so full in an MPP4. But me, my channel, MPP4. Master, me Kaiser and say, I would normally ever say, Fantastic people say, MPP4 back a year. I'm going to be a who answer MPP4 to me, get the machines that do so. You can take what you say, I could see where they are. Kakere kakere de Miami Mahama said, what are my own and in Fantastic people, the nipple one, and you pack it for. That's all bounce when you go to the end of the password. The eternity, the river could be eternity. 2024, your man says you come down.
Okay, mo Nyamisha pa 050-299-7328. Pamcho mo frɛ WhatsApp line no. Me enne kura me nti ofra me ntimi mpeke wo. Frɛ sa number na egu ho no. 050 men frɛ WhatsApp. Ofra WhatsApp pa me ntimi mpeke wo. Me da fo wudi na ya kasa free. Me pa to Ghana ntini e chewa dwen.
Jo, me tia game and bona paso. Say a man, you bet in the Ghana apple, what's your attack? Say game. Because anybody know that it's an easy fear than easy what better when a Dutch will use when you're baby with a power could get one. No one you have was to take and also the Apoano. And yet, you have a nice one. Now, Physical Master gave me number one to open up a pass up and now. Take the Diana, number 21 I will want today and the order. Okay. You are the fact you put in that you never have a broker. Or didn't you know you have this guy done enough? All the way. 2024.
Mo Nyamisha. Damn 2024 050-299-7328. Me see you do have Medafodi. Hey. Medafodi. Okay, okay, suffering here. I need him. Me pacho Ghana ntini e chewa dwen.
Okay. Hello.
Ready. O de unya chance na wura ma. Me da fodi wa course no ban ba. Me da fodi.
Hello, me did the or you call this year Nana Kofi Boateng. I don't know that from Mr. B. Make a free at Chimbo Some and impro at Chimbo.
Hey, Kofi, what's that? Ghana ntini e chewa dwen.
Ghana ntini.
Your mama pa.
Dramani Mahama dear.
Okay.
Me tini dia. Nama koma atomi ye.
Oh Jesus.
Anya he chancellor Dramani Mahama nanka akyem akyeafe. Like ye secondary school or home. Anya he chancellor Dramani Mahama nanka ye freko bi aprade. Like ye secondary school or home.
Okay.
Enti anam say you make your way to kwa with ma ye. Enu nti me timi na kamenwo nanso me ba be wo nanka me de me ba apo he chancellor Dramani Mahama. Apo aba be kana to ma pefra.
Mo Nyamisha he ene wa say ba bia. Ghana nti your mama pa me se jiba de we ogwa wa hwe bia wa ha ho. Hwe eno kranko hwe course no ba nemba. Me no for wudi. Hey. Me no for wudi.
Hello.
Me pa so wudi me no for.
Your family right, the Catholic matter.
Me pa so Ghana ntini e chewa dwen.
Mahama, Papa. This is okay. I say a top of my 2024, maybe not be a cop. Okay.
Mo Nyamisha, come on, the whole Ghana. Obi e hwe Ghana nti. Hwe, ya kan gina ye matra makwe. Me ka kire wo. Me da fo, wudi. Oh Jesus, unya kwan wura na me yi free so at this point. I just say me da fo wudi, ni be akasa free.
Hello.
Yes sir. Kasa na ye you free so asoma to. Kasa wudi na be akasa free. Me da fo wudi na be akasa free. Kaswa yanko Ghana ntini ye yanko. Ebi, my phone from now 0502997328. At this point, we know Ramuna so we are here. This is Madam Woody. Yes, sir. Woody no yaka safi.
Because of it, ma.
Me pacho Ghana tinye yanko.
Because of it, ma.
Ghana tinye.
Ah, okay. Yes, I'm also
Yanko.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Me pacho. Krum na se we yasu we krum na se krum for na ayu na se ma ube klasa ba bi ma
Dabi untimi ma bio you na sempa gwa untimi ma
e ka men ko a ka papa company ba bi na ka entity company ba bi na ye mpe ba bi fa ye won de ba ye e ba ko ma na se wi e ko ba ye dai
okay oso be ni ye
oh tiri ni ye ati don do mo to no ma to wi
okay
do ma company ba bi na ka na ko ka ni ka papa to ba bi no papa ba bi fa
okay Mo mini anya mi shout 0502997328 0502997328 me da fo udi we akasa free
Good no me ka fi boma
me ba cho Ghana ntini e che wadwen
de o ka fa se de ato aburo de o ka fa se wa ka sa de o to aburo me di the person do ma ma de no e be to abama no on de ono na eko ma ono na eko e be to abama le sa ko pe yewu bye bye
okay mo Mr. Sadia won padwa Mahama no obi so mpe no enti aye politics this is democracy e me ma obunfu wache aye politics Ghana nti your my papa you do this segment aboa wa we word na ehwere wa asamato hey na na fi adoma oba mayo yes me da for udi no yakasa free
me de yawo innocent me ka so free asenfusu
me pa cho Ghana nti ne eche wadwen
me pato majin pe no say majin pe ko mai youth
okay
this was the politics yes the MPP and this na so for no yamba ye bra
okay
because at the end of the day you do mo tuna mo ko kwatana so ha you know the BS and because go ni dem
okay
because go ni dem you no kwa na busu na ekodi do the fire politics na buy power no
okay
one person am power at the end of the time that be na wo twa obo
okay
if you are the secretary me the you to me say you know constituency no me yamba ye bra you to be a family because we have a family to feed okay
mo nyamishaw very wonderful advice no dey mayen obi emfa no ho adwene na to aba papa 0502997328 Ghana nti and the messages ne wa ha mentimi kan yo course no me da fo di me da fo yankasa hello ujina so ya pick o Ghana nti ni o ya pick o okay I'm so want me enter nka we say in fact these Ghanaian leaders will suffer market but one funny di amfa amba we so me da fo woni yes sir
yeah me ka fa free aflawo
Ghana ntini e chewa dwen
me person is come out dwen how say about we tuma NDC na MPP no omo dada
okay
voter region Ketu South be dia koso NDC wo power so many years unto me year be dia wo Ketu South
okay
ye break
okay
MPP so bro ye ade takra wo keka o ye see defense by akaketa asada dada
okay
so omo tumienu yin omo ye krompo omo ye krompo serious one Mahama no dada akufo do so dada already on we any time no okono
okay
enjoy the papa no
mo nyamisra hwe masa we say so powerful yes so powerful yes me da fo di oh okay oko we so osesen was please we can't hear the sound hey is that so oh okay wait there I think I said you're fixing that we say hi but one funny din anka ho we melafo mpacho wudi melafo di
because I to prove my lord in kira I say o say kena se peni ba sikira kena that's a disana sama utini kasama utini se peni ni apa and the Ghana for 1804
near to a banana number. He said, Wabe bigger, yes, come on, to not. A compound, oh, grab the wood.
Okay.
The top of the arm, very far, is what it had.
Okay.
It's a best you know, I see. Okay.
Mo, Namisao. We say hi, good evening. My name is Nafiu. I am speaking from Kumasi Moshi Zongo. Mention not. Tell JM that we support him, pa. Medafuni. Me pacho, Ganantini. Okay.
Mahama started for.
Okay.
But now we do yeah, now for and I'm right. And if you have been putting if you are also to talk about
okay.
You know.
Okay. 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 It's a miracle about the twasso. It's a miracle. Miracle. And Sanchanimre, yadi ebro. It's a miracle. Now, fe yet me edi abro. I'm sorry, ya pet no so about betinasi. Okay, messages no. Most of them a voice mean to me embo. They won't make I was saying Yami to my and then yes. Super mega duper watch night no ebaso ewo Maranatha Power Ministries International. The bishop of our days and our time ono osi for na nwure bra be bom paye 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. na fi ade chia otimi akwadwuma bra imabiazo. Yes, yene ya to di imabiazo emergency prayers, and then you take your violence gift anyankopon ahihye dia ma osefo na ageno by force you take it emergency prayers forcefully taking your properties eno ene ade ko ene ya to di imabiazo brai ena mimrei won Lekma Polyclinic no machi ho ena Maranatha Power Ministries International ye wo we ose edian ma men kan message ma yesa asem ebeto me wo ha was good evening, I am rich Genesis from Achimota. I'm enjoying this show. As for our today leaders, they only think about themselves, so we don't have to depend on them. You know, and are rich at the buyer. When so say, hi, yes, hi, please. Will he cancel teacher training allowance? Politics. And I say, I am Smiler with the free him and a buyer. Want to for the free anchor. Will he cancel teacher training allowance? And no dear, I just say yes, and the next time. Not for your busan. After your cow say, aha, and you're the seeing Yamia Tuma. Ever since ya a branda ebe. Not for if yada, that's I Asia way. Guarantee. Never made the other said, I said to him. Some Miss Ramo, Mamma time nipping come. If I show Freying a 0245 230 188. 0245 230 188. Pacho adie bia woton bia fabra guarantee fabra Maranatha 200 meje 500 meje 1000 meje 5000 opesa wona me sign contract 1 year metiso the amount me no be company for ho ye be ma affordable promotion na afa watimi arane wo advert wo yedwumadi so ope airtime of my portion of my guarantee bra na yem fa 10 minutes 15 minutes 5 minutes metimi the amount no package wo guarantee so umpe wei na apade every day bia ye won kofo a omgu asori dem a ombom pa ye edema ye client ni nyina wei unya no ba bia yenko a na the whole Ghana, the whole Africa, the whole world ye wo efo e television prices to make na bra Maranatha television na afi woni ye metsom na ye ndi dwamom eno krankuto ene ye kan we dwumadi so me pa cho opese woni ye di nkoma frɛ yen 0243 me pa cho mesre 0245 230 188 0245 230 188 wo kumase ye beba uni video ye ba betwa ma wo takrade ye beba uni video ye ba betwa ma wo nsawam ye beba ba bi bia wo bia ye beba wei eye Maranatha television na wani gu so ahwe guarantee your mind papa and you do dwuma you business mo make am say me da wase so na nwumre bi ba wo fie na wo je me fe so me da wase so me ba wo dem na wo timi fa akonwa na wo na me tena ye ama sabre ye mre no atimi aso na mo make a che say nyankopon ebeba ene nche ya de papa ebetimi ama wo timi akwa ahwenwa nanim na mo think that Ghana is for you and I. And for that matter, anything that you do, you must think. And then you do things that will develop Ghana for the betterment of the country Ghana. Till we meet again, until I come into your various houses and various destinations. All what I'm saying is that stay blessed. Take good care of yourself until I come into your way on the coming Tuesday. All what I'm saying is that mucho gracias. Last time, harvest time.